Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of In the Corner with A. I hope you guys have had a nice start to the new year, even though we are like in our second week. But yeah, in today's episode, we are going to be speaking more so about the concept of frequency and the hidden influence of what we consume. I have three different titles that I want to name this episode, but whichever one it's up is the one that I've decided to go for. I'm currently pre-filming these episodes. Obviously, this one's going to be released on the 19th, I think it is. Girl, I can't even keep up with my dates at this point. But I am going for surgery, so this is going to be the 18th episode, and then the 19th one, which is already filmed and edited and ready to release, is with a guest. And yeah, so those are going to be basically available to view as I'm going to be in recovery. So there is that. Last night, I was having a conversation with my good friend, and we were speaking about the idea of manifestation and the power behind influence and the power behind what we consume, whether it be digital media, music that we listen to, stuff that we consume through advertisements, and just energies and environments that, for example, can alter our frequency and change us for good and for bad. For example, let's say with a lot of music that people consume nowadays, it consists of a lot of gory rap. I'm not trying to ridicule no one's music taste. Like, listen to what you want to listen to, because my music taste is very versatile. I listen to a lot of different things. But there's been like this scientific study behind words and power of words, and also the power of the tongue. I think I spoke about this in an episode. I'm not sure if I did, but if not, I'll be speaking about it in a future episode. But the power of the tongue is such an important thing to understand, because what you say is what you are. You are what you consume. Have you heard of the phrase that people used to say, you are what you eat? Literally, that is what the case is. If you're consistently always consuming, for example, let's say metaphorically, junk food, right? You are going to become a product of that junk. You're going to feel miserable. You're going to feel low energy. You're just going to feel bad and pessimistic all the time, because you are not radiating, sorry, that's the wrong word. What the fuck? You are vibrating at a low frequency, which has a lot of chemicals, which has a lot of unhealthiness attached to it, in comparison to starting a healthy diet. And this doesn't have to be food as well. It can be all forms. It can be music. It can be what you consume. It could be how you spend your time. For example, doom scrolling is something that this generation of society struggles from nowadays. I'm not trying to act all quirky, because I do have my form of doom scrolling. It's just not on TikTok. And I remember them times back in COVID where I would just sit and scroll and watch TikTok for like hours and hours. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not who I want to become, and this is not who I want to be. So yeah, I don't even have TikTok installed on my phone. I know I used to do social media influencing back in the day, so I would always be posting and always looking for stuff to create. But I feel like eventually, I'll speak about this in a future episode with a guest potentially who also was in social media and still is, I think. But just speaking about how technology can consume you and technology can control you. And I think that is a very scary thing, that people are just letting it happen to them without being so aware of the repercussions that they might face. Attention span being number one. Everyone has low attention span, I myself included. We get distracted so easily because our brain is literally fried. Our dopamine receptors are literally burnt out because of the amount of stuff that we consumed. The amount of excitement and thrill that we used to get for basic things before, we don't have that anymore, because it's been replaced by visuals. It's been replaced by social media, by what people consume. For You page, TikTok, Retata, you name it, whatever. I need to stop saying Retata. Anyways, so there is that. And me and my friend, we were speaking about, you know, when you have like those 4 a.m. conversations with your friends, just talking about stuff that, you know, you've gone through and you want to make a change in your life and whatnot. He's a very, very cool person. I'll have him on an episode in the future. Hi, Josh. We speak a lot about manifestations, affirmations, changing your mindset, and having a proper healthy approach to becoming what you want to become. And we were speaking about the power of frequency. I also brought it up to him yesterday, and I was telling him how, you know, when it comes to finances and having assets and stuff like that, you have to visually represent that finance in a state of appreciation rather fear. And it's funny that I posted this on my close friend story on Instagram, because I wanted to speak about it in today's episode. And basically, if I can find it, just give me a sec. It was a repost of how to match the frequency of money, and I posted it and I said, change your perspective of money. Don't see it as a substance of loss and fear. You spend money out of appreciating the blessing it brings rather than feeling guilty. You have to change the way you perceive money and the power you let it have over you. Feel like you have it all and you will have it all. Matter of fact, you do, just change your frequency. I feel like when it comes to spending money and just, having a form of income and then buying something to spoil yourself or reward yourself, people will always have this thing of, ugh, but it's going to put me in like debt, or oh my gosh, like I'm going to be spending money, I'm going to feel guilty. You shouldn't let paper control you. You shouldn't let literally money control you, because if you're letting it have an emotional response over you, it literally will control you for the rest of your life. You have to change the way you're thinking when it comes to finance and money. You're spending because you are appreciating the blessing that money brings, and every single time you spend, you will get it back 10 times more. Adapt that mentality and adapt that mindset, because if you are so driven by success and that is what you want to attain in life, you cannot let the concept of money throw you off your frequency or throw you off the goal, because at the end of the day, you have to be aware of what you are letting in your life discipline you, control you, and consume you. And this is why I say, when it comes to changing frequency, you have to align yourself with the visual representation that you want. You see an abundant amount of success and prosperity for someone and you want that, you're not going to achieve it if you're going to become so, guilt freaked out by the concept of spending money. Money is an investment. You sometimes are going to have to invest, whether it be money, time, sacrifices. That is going to have to happen, because you're going to become a greater version of yourself once you adapt that mentality of adapting your frequency to reach a higher state, a higher flow state is what people say nowadays. So yeah, there's that. And also in regards to this thing that I posted on my story, I'm actually going to be speaking about the matching, your frequency for the money, because it is very insightful. And I do have a little story about how I manifested things that I got in my life now, whether it be 2 years ago, 5 years ago, or even now to this day. So I'll get into that. So it basically states, to match the frequency of money, identity is the first thing. Money responds to identity before effort. Your brain acts in alignment with who you are, as in who you believe you are. When you see yourself as stable, capable, and abundant, your decisions change automatically. You have to put yourself in the shoes of someone that has everything you've always desired and wanted. You have to have the feel-good feeling of closing your eyes and visually just imagining you having the life that you desire. But of course, like I said, fantasizing is one thing, taking action is another. Put both forces together and you will become the product of your environment. You will become the product of what you are thinking. I did do this morning meditation that I recorded on my voice memos with my chakra singing bowl, which is right next to me. I love that bowl. It's so powerful. And it just puts you in a state of calmness. It puts you in a state of, breathing in, breathing out. A state of tranquility. And literally, I was sat in front of my vision board playing the chakra bowl, and I recorded on a voice memo the things that I was saying. It was all affirmations. It was, I believe I am this, I am this. Close your eyes, feel it, and the excitement that runs through your nerves and your body is a powerful tool, because everything is about feeling. Like I said in previous episodes, the fantasy life that you want and the reality that you want it to be is already there. You just have to match that frequency to align to get to that point. So that is going to be identity. Next is embodiment. You do not attract money by thinking, you attract it by behaving. Embodiment means your posture, tone, boundaries, and habits signal safety and competence. A regulated nervous system makes better financial choices. I want to speak about regulating your, not financial systems, regulating your nervous system to be in a state of peace. Because I feel like nowadays, everyone's nervous system and brain receptors, as I said, is literally fried off of the, planet. But you have to put yourself in a position where you change certain aspects of yourself to reach that flow state. You can't have a bummy mindset, a broke mindset, but still have the concept or the idea of wanting to be something great. You have to change everything in the present to match that vibration, to match that wavelength, to up the next level to get there. It's all about embodiment. It's all about feeling. It's all about changing the present moment, whether it be the way you're speaking, whether it be the way you're acting and behaving, whether your circle defines success or not. That is a big one, because a lot of the time people find it hard to let go of friendships because history is attached to it. The next thing is attention. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Constantly watching lack trains the brain to expect scarcity. Focusing on solutions strengthens the neural circuits for opportunity. When opportunities come and go, everything in life is planned the way it is. Everything comes for a reason. Everything goes for a reason or a blessing as well. You have to plan strategically according to what opportunities there are. And also at the same time, focusing your intention on the right things. You need to train your mind and train your belief system into believing that everything you want is already yours. Everything you desire is already yours. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, your signal is clear. This coherence is what people call being, quote unquote, lucky. The concept of luckiness, I feel like it's 50-50. It juxtaposes with reality and people's circumstances and situations where they're fortunate enough to make everything they want, come in a blink of an eye like that. But all in all, it depends on dedication and how you perceive yourself. I think I kept saying that this episode because it's true. The way you view yourself is what you become. You cannot sit there in a room of people that are all gassing you up and telling you you're going to become something so great, but you don't see it in yourself. You have to see it in yourself anyways, because at the end of the day, you are your own competition. You are your own biggest believer and you are your own biggest fan. You have to align with your true self and know that you are so capable of so much and achieving great success rather than having people do it for you and yet you still don't see it in yourself. What sort of mindset is that? You have to change so much when it comes to obtaining values, when it comes to wanting that dream car, that dream house, that dream career, that dream, goal of yours that you've been working so hard towards to. And I don't know, I feel like just stop comparing yourself to people. That's one of the biggest things that people tend to do. I myself included, I feel guilty about this because it's true. We all go into a state of mind where we compare our situations to other people and we're like, oh, well, how comes they attained it but I can't, even though we're doing the same thing. The thing is, people's timing, everyone is on a different journey. You are going to receive a blessing at the time when God believes it's right, when the universe believes it's right. When you are in a state of abundance and in a state of receiving blessings, you have to change everything in your present moment to get to that. And that's what it is. You are not in a rush. You are not in a rat race. You are racing with yourself, and you are having to constantly fight between desires and fight between the end goal. In the episode that I spoke about with my guest, which is coming out next Friday, we spoke about loving the journey, and that is such an important thing. And I feel like this episode will cross over into that because you are changing the frequency, you are adapting to new beginnings, you are starting something new that's going to benefit you in the long run. So you have to enjoy the previous, all the good moments, but also have to close that in a box and send it away. Because you can't bring baggages and old burdens with you into the new flow state that you want to achieve and want to become. And you have to fall in love with the journey. It's going to be hard. It's going to be strenuous. But at the end of the day, working under stress, you will thrive. And it will taste sweeter in the end. So I think, I don't really have that many more points to discuss for this episode. More so because I think I just briefly kind of explained it. And it will cross over into next week's episode. But, consumption shapes consciousness. You have to be aware of what you are consuming. If you fill your mind with junk, you are going to become junk. If you consume so much junk, your body's going to feel like junk. Therefore, your mental state is going to feel like junk. And on top of that, the frequency you feed is an important concept that people need to understand and grasp onto, especially with the way the society is right now. Doom scrolling is damaging so many people, and being incognizant and unaware of what you are consuming is basically like giving your life away to social media. That's exactly what it is. People want to people get controlled, but they don't know it. They don't see it because they're so deep in the problem and deep in the issue of doom scrolling on TikTok and always affirming themselves with bad energies and low vibrational words and frequencies. One thing I can't stand is being around people who always complain, people who always feel the need to constantly doubt themselves, and they're so reprehensible and they're just so like, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. You got to change that mindset. And if the people around you are acting that way, it will affect you. You become a product of your environment. You always become a product of your environment. Learn how to make a change and make a step and, change the circle. Because if you want to change your life, you've got to change your environment. Your network is your net worth. That concludes today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see y'all next week as I'm in recovery behind the scenes. Thank you. Bye.